The inner triangle of the Enneagram represents the process of how we fall into habitual behaviors. If we look at the top, point 9, it represents functioning on autopilot. Now, most of the time, each of us are going through life on autopilot. The brain is an energy-intensive organ. As it is, it uses about 20% of our energy throughout the day. It's always looking for ways to save energy. So it creates habits, it creates patterns of thinking, does things that allow us to multitask. If we're driving our car, for example, we can drive our car while thinking about other things, what we have to get at the supermarket, what we're going to do later that day. It's not a bad thing. In fact, if we were to be conscious and be focused all day long, we'd be exhausted. It would just use too much energy. None of us can be paying attention all the time. So nature has gifted us with this ability to function on autopilot. That's good, except when it's not. Functioning on autopilot allows us to get through the day and to save energy, but when we encounter something that's new, our automatic habits, our traditional approaches to things may not work. We start to run into friction between our current attitudes, our current behaviors, and the new set of circumstances. This creates anxiety in it. And in order to make that anxiety go away, we typically rewrite our story in some way. But we usually do it in a way that reinforces a story that we've always had. So humans are constantly caught in this loop, functioning on autopilot, then being snapped out of autopilot briefly through some sort of friction or anxiety, and then going back into just another mode of autopilot through creating a story about our world. We have big stories, we have little stories. We have stories about the people we encounter, about the places we go, about the cars that we see at the mall parking lot. We have big stories about our culture, about our politics, about our religion. Humans make stories all the time as a way of not having to think about things. Created a story about something, don't have to think about it anymore, I can think about something else. Again, this is fine except when it's not. And in those times when it's not, we have to learn to rewrite our story. Now this can be challenging because first we have to figure out what our story is. Most of these stories are implicit. We've been telling ourselves these stories for so long that we don't even know what they are. The Enneagram helps us understand what's at the heart of those stories. It helps us understand what attitudes and limiting beliefs we have that keep us stuck and resisting change. In our next video, we're going to look at how we can use our understanding of our personality style to reverse this process, to create stories that are more adaptive and to create more effective behaviors. For example, somebody who's an Enneagram Type 9 and has the preferred strategy of striving to feel peaceful might have a story about what it means to be peaceful that tells them that, well, I'll only be peaceful if I resist change, if I don't assert my needs, if I don't enter into conflict. On the other hand, somebody who is an Enneagram Type 8 may have a story that tells them, I can only be powerful if I am in control and dominate other people, instead of understanding that they can actually empower them. Somebody who's an Enneagram Type 7 might think that I'll only be excited if I keep jumping from one thing to the next. In the next video, we're going to see how we can reverse this process and adopt a simple 3-step change model for learning how to rewrite these stories in ways that allow us to embrace change rather than reject it.